Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to yet another edition of the Lambom Show. Today is Wednesday, November 10th, 2021, and we are back on today to our regular session, African Immigrants and the Development of Africa. Today we want to talk a little bit about politics within the context of what is happening in the United States, and a little bit about the numerous coups that are taking place in Africa. Last Tuesday. So every first Tuesday of the month of November in the United States is election day. There was so much enthusiasm amongst African immigrants in the run up to the presidential elections. I think for the first time, many Africans activated their right to vote, and it turned out the conversations were hot, heated, and many people voted. And one would have imagined that this same kind of enthusiasm would have greeted the last elections that took place last week. But precisely because they are just local elections, I think just two states had elections of their governors, and then the rest were local boards and all that. We didn't find a similar enthusiasm, and it gave me today we want to get into something which is all politics is local. So Ed Okpa has talked about this a lot within this platform and on this show. We make so much noise about the national and we forget that all politics is local. Yes, African immigrants have particular concerns that may, ring with the federal government. So, for example, issues on immigration, issues of security, foreign affairs, and all that. But for those who live in the United States, the economy, education, all the rest of those things are determined by the local government. So we are wondering why so much interest in the national and little or no interest in the local. That is a conversation I'd like to pick Sir Ed Okpa's brain on today, because I know he himself has, given that he has been in Dallas and he has, he has been very engaged and making all the politics of being a Republican. And in fact, there are too many things we're going to talk about that today. One of the other questions we are going to address is whether the two-party system in the United States is not something that is hindering Africans from becoming really active within the system. So, Sir Okpa, welcome.
Thank you.
And I know there's a lot that you have done over the last couple of weeks, and it's going to be a busy December for you. There are things you are going to do on the continent, and there's some big news that is going to happen shortly, and I'm hoping that is going to be announced first on this platform. But let's get off. What engagement did you have in the run up to the last elections last November? I think it was November 2nd. Were you engaged in anything? Was there anything particular that struck you?
We didn't have any election in Texas as such for governor. Our governorship election is coming up next year, November. So we have primaries in March. So, within the Republican Party, our governor is a Republican. There are some people challenging him. So, but I don't think they're going to make a nomination. So that's just the process. They will challenge him, and then, he makes the nomination. Then he will stand against whomever the Democrats. So what we had this November was just constitutional amendment election. Certain questions were asked. Do you want that? Do you want that? That was it. But other than that, there was nothing else we did. We just. So some people, if it's not a candidate election, a lot of people don't get excited. So this was like an issue election. So the turnout was okay. I voted. I always like to vote because that's my power. Whomever I vote doesn't necessarily have to win, but me, the fact that I will go in there and vote, gives me the, a feeling of power that I'm choosing somebody who may or may not represent me.
Right. So again, I'm kind of happy to note that you voted on the issues that came up, and in your state of Texas, where you are, there is a large African immigrant population, even though it doesn't compare to the Hispanic population that you have in the state.
Mhm.
What is your assessment of the level of engagement of Africans at the level of your state and also in the general political landscape in the United States?
Well, I mean, when we say Africans, let's look at it as to the quality of the Africans. Okay, how many are citizens? Um, then how many are in tune to the issues that affect them where they live. So you may have 100,000 Africans, whatever the number is. When you drill down to it, you find that less than 10% actually pay attention. To what the issues are, to what the candidates are running for. They don't even know when the governorship thing around. You hear about the president. That's where, oh my God, presidential election. But again, that you are physically present in America doesn't mean you are engaged. You may not, because you may not be legally in a position to engage. So the number should not be. Let's not be deceived by the number. Let's look at the people that are actually citizens and who participate. Election is until you participate, and that participation is in the vote. You don't count. You go to Houston, there's a huge contingent population of Africans and Nigerians, probably bigger than everybody else. But there's no Nigerian or African who is on the city council. There's no Nigerian or African who is on school board. There's no Nigerian who has run for state office, like district office or anything. They just they're very busy showing off each other's house and whose wife is doing what and how many nurses are bringing money home, which is fine. That's what a lot of them came for. But beside that, they have no community presence. They have no political capital that anybody is excited about. As opposed to other immigrants, you have the Asians and the Hispanic who have, continued to make progress in those political arena, having their people elected, having a say, having a seat at the inner side of the political spectrum. Africans are not into it, you know. Once they go to their waykeeping on Friday and then see who is dead and who is going to be shipped home or who is going to be buried here, and then Saturday they go to wedding, Sunday they go to their various churches, and then Monday, I mean, they're like, oh my God, I have to go clock in and trade more hours for dollar. That's what that is. A lot of us have not broken the cycle of the country we came from. So that's it. So yeah, we have. I wouldn't say we have 1 million Africans in Texas, but that number might be possible. But you have them in Houston, you have them in Dallas, San Antonio, Austin area, El Paso, but that's it. I mean, of course, any city that has a population of 50 or so thousand people, you're likely going to find an African and maybe a doctor who's trying to pay off his students' loan going to law school, so he's in a rural community, or a nurse, But that's how we go.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, so I was good. What is the problem? Because I love the way you put it. African immigrants have not been able to break the cycle of the countries we come from. What is the issue? What is it about this environment that is preventing Africans from getting involved?
Nothing is preventing Africans; just the Africans prevent themselves. I mean, in your prior shows, we have talked about Europeans came here and became white people. Okay, even though they still maintain the identity of being Italian, Irish, whatever, but the overall outlook for them is white. Therefore everybody calls them that. You don't now single them out, by their own, ancestry. But Africans still come here and get singled out by their own ancestry, the Nigerian, the Cameroonian, the Kenyan, So we carry the baggage across the Atlantic, and we are not able to merge. We're not able. If you go to African organizations, like for instance, we have talked about the African Society, if we form it, uh, most of the things we form is still based on where we came from. You know, so if you form it, sometimes it's going to be dominated by. So we have not mentally migrated to where we see value, where we see alignment of value as opposed to national origin. A lot of things we do are still based on the national origin, and that tends to limit us because we are not a very across the race kind of people. I mean, look at it. How many of us have good relationship with African Americans? How many of us have good relationship with the Caribbean Americans? Everybody's still in their silo, in their little, group, and talk about the other person, what the other people do or don't do. But why people may do that, but it's not very noticeable because there's like them. It's white. So when you're talking about the white people in America, talking about the Irish guy, the Italian guy, this Norwegian. He's just like white, you know, or the Russian American. I mean, they came from all these other places, just like we came from all over, but they have sort of moved to this higher plane or different plane while we still caught up on this where we came from kind of thing. And it doesn't matter how long we've been here, we still carry that identity with us.
So, what is, I mean, as a personal challenge to you, you have been very engaged in the politics of the United States. What are you doing to change the mentality, and what are
I
the
mean,
challenges?
I can, I mean, like my wife always say, Africans are unteachable. I mean, and that example comes from the Nigeria. We are unteachable kind of people. We are a people who don't learn by observation. We want to learn. Most times when we learn, we want to learn. Okay, am I going to get a job out of this? Am I going to get money? We don't learn to self improve. And self improvement is, when you become a scholar. You want to see, okay, what am I doing? On my own by myself that I can change, adapt, modify in order for me to be part of something bigger than me. Um, we're not there yet. Oftentimes, the schools we go to is to get that career paper so we can go get a job. But how many of us sit back in our home, pick up a magazine, a book, and read, or even want to reach out to other people other than the people that they are familiar with? The churches we go to, what is in that? Cameroonian church, Nigerian church, and sometimes you go is done in one room in a hotel room or done in some kind of tiny. Again, we haven't merged as the Africans in America or the blacks in America. Who are we? So it, I do it. I mean, if you come to my house or hang around me for 1 week, I have people come to my house. A lot of them are not even Nigerians. I'm hosting I was approached to host the Senate President of Congo. I'm not from Congo. It was them that came to me and said, "Hey, Mr. Hopper, we've seen you do the things you do. Would you love to do this?" I said, "Sure." And I mean, I could have done it in the house of one of my non-African friends, but I said, "Let me bring him to my home and then do the stuff." So I have people. It's just the Nigerians that I don't know how to deal with, and that's fine with me. But other people come to me, and I share what I know.
Right. So, I mean,
I'll tell you, okay, when I came to America, I came to Dallas 87 and I've lived in the same zip code, so I'm not somebody hard to find in Dallas. So 1994, 95, I started to, because now I've gotten my citizenship. But before then, I was like, look, I didn't want to become a citizen because I felt, hey, I came here college educated. My parents, all up until that time, family resources were paid for my way to go to school. So I felt, hey, I don't need to be citizen. Now, the green card gave me opportunity to go back and forth. And then I found out, I said, no, the green card is limited. I can't. That's certain things I can't do just by green. I can't even vote. So I decided to become a citizen, and that happened in 1995. Remember when I worked for FDIC, I wasn't even an American citizen. But so 95 I became a citizen. I said, okay, this citizenship is not just for me to travel and carry the blue passport. That I'm going to get involved politically. I want to understand the system. I want to understand the politics, how the various political things happen in America. And what was my first stop? My first stop was the city. So that's when I learned in the municipal thing. I supported the first black guy who ran for mayor of Dallas and won, Ron Kirk. I was one of the 40 people that were his sponsored his rally, the rally he did before the campaign. He won. But before then, when I got the opportunity to meet the candidate, I reached out to some of my Nigerian friends. I said, "Hey man, let's go and understand how this thing works. Let's see what is in it. What did I get? Oh yeah, American politics. There's no money in it. Blah blah blah." I said, "Okay, fine. I believe in what my father taught me. My friend I told you is your friend. My friend I didn't tell you is not your friend. So if you and I know each other, I will tell you what I'm doing. Even in real estate projects, I will say, hey man, I'm trying to do this. It's not that I'm bragging or showing off, but most Africans will look at it that way. Oh, he's showing off. But for me, it's hey, I'm telling you so that if you see the concrete being poured or the groundbreaking, you don't say, hey man, I drink with this guy and he never said that to me. No, I'll tell you because I already know in my head, I've already planned it out. So I told some of my friends and they say, oh no, man, I said, okay, fine. This is for me. This is not for you. Africans have this sense of the Africans or Nigerians have communal sense, but they don't have sense of community. So I went. And I met the candidate Kirk. And while he was being introduced, they asked him, after the introduction by his campaign people, they now said, hey, who among you guys would like to support him, to run for mayor? I didn't even know what the support entailed. Nobody raised their hand for a while. I raised my hand. I was the first person to raise my hand in the room. There probably were like 40 or so number of people. But he had the candidate was on stage looking at, the audience. And when I raised my hand, he noticed me, even though he noticed me before he took stage. And when I raised my hand, some other people raised their hand. Okay? Mm-hmm. So this was what, 95. Remember, there were no email, wasn't very, ready available. You have to fill, they give you forms to fill your name, your address and telephone number. And so we're gonna reach out to those of you who raised their hand. I said, well, if I go back to I was in an apartment. If I go back to my apartment, if they call me, I don't like what they're saying, I hang up the phone. Nobody's gonna drag me. But what did that lead to? They called me. I don't even remember how much donation I made. It wasn't a whole lot of anything. But the fact that I was present, he ran, he won. I was invited to the inauguration. I went again to see what the inauguration is like. And then January 1996, this is now 6 months he was in office. His office called me and said, oh, the mayor wants me to travel to South Africa with him. We went to South Africa and Zimbabwe. We were gone for 12 days. So when the staff called me, I said, no, I'm from Nigeria. I'm not going to South Africa. They said, what? So the staff hung up and said, hey, I'm going to call you back because the mayor really wants you to go with him. So I went. At that time, I was married to my former wife. I said, hey, I got a call that the mayor wants me to travel with him. And my mother-in-law then, who I didn't care so much, but I still give her credit for that. She said, oh, you going? Do you know what that means? You know what that means? The mayor is asking you to travel with him. You going? And my son my son was born November 8th, 1995. So this is all happening when my boy was just very little. Baby. And my mother-in-law said, you going? I said, oh, okay, fine. And now when I called the office back, I said, hey, I'm going. They said, well, that's what we wanted to hear from you. So what does that mean? I traveled in remember my citizenship was May 95. And here I am, less than 1 year, less than 6 months of becoming a citizen. I'm traveling with the mayor of my city to foreign countries. And when we were there, guess who was his advisor? Me. He said, oh, you're from Africa. Okay, tell me how to greet all, in Africa, they say your lordship, your highness, and all sort of stuff. So I keep telling him, and he said, man, I wish they would call me the lordship. Here we say Mr. Mayor, or we say that. But so I was the one, when you go on a delegation, a trip like that, Usually the mayor is given a car and everybody else rides in a bus. So his wife was part of that mission. But the wife was riding the bus. He wanted me to ride with. So it was the driver that they gave him, some other guy in front of the car. So I was still with him in the back. And he will lean over and say, okay, Edward, now we're going to see the mayor of Johannesburg. What should I do when I get over there? And I was like, okay, here's how you do it. Your majesty, your blah, blah, blah. But even then, the Nigerians in Dallas didn't believe it that I was going. They say, yeah, that guy is always doing this until they see me, because back then the media will follow you to the gate of the airplane. Back then there were all this TSF business. So Dallas Morning News, the local TV people here were at the airport with their camera, seeing who is getting in the plane. And they say, uh-oh, this is for real. I'm laughing because of how I know what's going to happen, but they didn't imagine what's not going to happen. I know that I'm already going to this trip. I have a brochure, I have, booklet, our names, our pictures. So that's it. Since then, guess what? I got appointed to city boards, profiles started to look good, and people, and I started getting involved. I said, okay, this is what it is, and then of course I ran for mayor too. How many years after that? But that's it. I had no godfather. Nobody said, okay, Edward, this is how you do it. I chose to do it, and I went by observation, and then I started to learn. That's it.
Yeah, so I wanted to get back to something you said originally when you reached out to the Nigerian community.
My friends.
Yes, your friends. They said there's no money in politics.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that true? There's no money in politics. So I'm trying to find out, why would you fault them for saying there's no money in politics when generally what has brought many of them here is money? We are here.
Yeah, that's fine, but guess what? Are they making the money? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Africans look for transaction. Something has to be, real. Okay, you gotta be. Oh yeah, I gotta make money out of this before I can be involved. For me, I don't look for money. I know when I'm duly engaged, money is gonna come, and that's what has helped me with my business. I don't advertise. I know people know me. People reach out to me. So, but when Africans come, it's money. Oh, what job is paying more money? They switch over. Nobody is actually invested in their own interest. They are invested in what they think is going to make them money. And then I understand that they came here because of that. I told you, my father said, if going to America is if I'm going for money and degree, I should not go. I should sit back in Nigeria, because there are people in Nigeria that have more money than God and more money than me. Okay? And they have more degrees than me. I mean, they can pile it up from here to Jericho. But my father said, hey, if you're going to be involved and engaged, go. So money does not drive me the way most people will think. If I tell you some of the deals I'm working on now, I mean, you'll be blown away. And it's just conversation because I'm present, and somebody start talking to me, what do you do? And all of a sudden, oh, we can do this, and their business comes. So when you put money as upfront, people make it. I'm sure there are many Africans that are millionaires in whatever ways they want to describe themselves. But then look at how many of them even can discuss the politics of the city they live in, or the political structure. So if you now said, okay, let me go home and be minister, or be something, president or governor, what have you learned in America you can compare to? What have you been involved in? Okay, in school, in classroom, you taught school, professor or whatever, but you haven't really been engaged. And even when you're on your job, you're not even at the executive level. You're not even on an executive committee of the company you work for. You may get paid good money, so you don't even make decisions that change the direction of the company. So, so again, individual choices, but my individual choices is not driven by what drives most African immigrants. It doesn't.
So, I mean, that is good. And again, it's not driven by money, but again, I'm thinking there needs to be something that gives in order for people to get
sacrifice. Are you willing to sacrifice? Everybody wants money. I'm not saying that I hate money. I'm just saying that I look at totality of things. I look at what is going to pop out of my engagement. I mean, of course, I got to pay bill. I mean, so and I pay bill by money, but I'm not saying okay until I see the dollar sign, I'm not going to get engaged. I'm not like that. It's like, okay, what am I going to do out of this? What is likely to? You never know. You could be, talking to people, and then things happen. But what I'm saying is, of all the wakekeepings Africans go to, of all the weddings they go to, how many of them have gotten a business deal out of it or gotten any useful information out of it? I can tell you how many useful information I have gotten just attending a political stuff or hanging out with some people, and they say, "Oh, by the way, what are you working on?" Or we heard that you do this. Can you work with us? Can you help us advise us? But I'm just saying, in these things that we socially do, how many of us have gotten useful information on how to get green card, how to register your business, how to grow your business, even from our own within community? How many of us, how many people in your Cameroonian community, Nigerian, Ghanaian, have we share that information? When we know it, we don't share it. We because we want to be like, oh no. If I tell you that Africans think that knowledge is like a water in a bucket. If you pour more of it, the less you get. Knowledge is not like that. In fact, the more knowledge you share, the more knowledge you get. But Africans think, oh my God, I know this. So if I tell, Lambert that I know it or how I know it, it means it's less. No, it's not. It's not less. So until we get away from those kind of stuff, we will never be what other immigrants are doing in this country. I mean, look at people that came here, know English. Some of them, fought hard, got here illegally and then changed their status. Look at what they are doing. Today, a Mexican friend of mine, a client, he started doing, he does produce. He now supplies grocery stores in how many, 6, 7 states around Texas. He started, this was about 1997. He was sweeping the floor of this grocery store. I mean, this produce warehouse. He was sweeping the floor. He was 15 years old. Today, he owns it. 95 people employed. One day, he needed a real estate services. I introduced him. But when I was introducing him, I said, hey, would you like to meet the governor? He said, man, I don't know how to do that. I said, hey, he won't bite you. Come on. He met Albert. Boom, I introduced him. In fact, him and I were going to go to Florida to meet with Mrs. Trump. But guess what today? I'm working on another deal with him. It's in real estate. Just because I said, hey, come on. This is what you do. This is how you do it. So again, sometimes it's confidence. Some people, a lot of people don't know the system, but you say, come on, yeah, So he watched me. And when the governor saw me, hey, Edward, and he was on the corner looking at me like, what? And I said, hey, Governor, this is my friend. And he said, well, if you're a friend of Edward, you're a friend of mine. The guy started laughing, get comfortable. I said, these people, they don't bite you. They ain't, they see them on TV some kind of way. Well, that's how it is. There's a Zambian lady, the same thing. I took her, come on, meet the governor. When she got over there, she was like, come on, get over here, take a picture. Shake the governor's hand. Do this, do that. She's like, wow. So that's it. But because I know, it doesn't mean I know, now because I shared it with them, I know less. So, but now we do it, if we've done business before, he's paid me when I brought my opportunity. Now we're even going to do something bigger. And he's like, hey, man, we're going to make a ton of money. I say, hey, let's go. But if I had that in mind, I would even have reached out to him. I would be like, okay, where is it? Where's money? How are you going to make it? So that's, again, for me, everybody's different, and I'm not better. I just know that when I want to do something, I'm doing it. Whether my village people wants me to do it or whether my siblings wants me to be, I don't care. I told you a story when I was 7 years old. Nigeria was having civil war, and I said to God, if everybody in my family dies, I am going to live a life. And I made it, and I meant it. I've had my parents, all my parents are dead. I have siblings, 2 of my biological siblings, same mom, they have all passed away. I was in Nigeria, this year 2 times for my nephew and myself. But I still have to live a life. I can't get caught up or something because I didn't kill them. Even if I did kill them, then God approved for me to kill them. You know what I mean? So that's that. But I'm just saying, you see Africans get caught up. Oh my God, somebody died in my village, and this person they are mourning or grieving about. They haven't seen the person in 40 years. Oh, it's just my uncle, is my cousin, is my. This is like, what was the last time? Oh, I haven't seen the person, and I hear you are torturing yourself because somebody died in the village that you have no close relationship with. How a lot of sometimes the way we take death, we make it look like God is the one that gave people life. When we die, we die. Is it not? The only person that knows when they're going to die is somebody on a death row. They've given a date. On this day, we're going to come kill you. But other than that, human beings don't know. Boom, any one of us can go to sleep, then never wake up, or go out there, accident happen, or something. So why am I concerned and get all the diamond because somebody died in my village that I haven't seen for how many years? Oh, okay, sorry to hear that. I said, okay, what else? So it's just individuals.
Right. So I really wanted to highlight something that you brought up here, which is what you are talking about there in terms of what is outside the social capital of the wakekeeps you attend on Fridays, the weddings on Saturdays, and church on Sundays. There is no real value to that in terms of how that helps us to become, call it, better persons. Yes, there's some social capital that one kind of gains by doing those things. But the question you asked was, what knowledge, what other value does that bring? And I think you are trying to shift our attention, that it's not as if those things are in themselves bad, but that in terms of how they elevate our conversations and bring us to better places, we need to get beyond those things and get into other things, which is what you are trying to do with next week's event. I'm kind of, again, I wanted to highlight that next Thursday, November 18th, Sir Okpa is hosting His Excellency Bahati Lukwebo, the president of the Senate of the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. That's kind of impressive, together with Alain Riba and Emmanuel Kalumbata. I hope we can have them next Wednesday to talk about the significance of this.
I can tell them and then send them a link and they participate. In fact, Alan is Congolese. I met him at an event. This is when Perry was governor of Texas. So he had come with another Nigerian to this other stuff. And after the event was over, and I said, hey, where are you from? He said, from Congo. I said, what are you doing? He told me he's in IT and all that kind of stuff. I said, hey, would you like to meet the governor of Texas? And he was shocked. I said, would you like to? He's like, hey, I said, would you? I said, the question is yes or no. Forget about the process. Boom, he's met the governor of Texas. He's met Trump. All of this through me. He's met senators. And then we went to Congo 2000. And he's from the big Congo, but he had a relationship on the small Congo. And we went there and met with the prime minister twice, But I was one, and I opened up to him. I didn't know him. Just ask him on the spot, do you want to do it? He said, yes. So now his confidence level has gone up, and his own people, you know what I mean? I still know what I know. He knows what he knows. When I went to the FBI Citizens Program, the Nigerian Police Citizens Program, I went to the Nigerians there. We need to understand the law enforcement. You don't have to be a policeman. You don't have to understand how they work and what they do. I didn't come here to be a policeman. I said, okay, fine. But I know it. I know police chiefs. I know the FBI guys in charge of Dallas Division since 2003. I know them. Because each time a new one comes, I'm invited to some reception. I meet them and shake hands. It doesn't mean that they're going to save my ass if I get into trouble. But at least, they know me. And I know them. So with these social things, which is fine. And Africans love the social thing. But I'm just saying, Africans socialize. They don't network. Okay? They come drink beer. They shout, they show you, who is embezzling money in their country, whose house is bigger, whose wife, whose wedding, they do all that. But in all of that conversation, nobody's sharing what they're doing. Nobody's telling you, hey, my company's hiring. Are you interested? Fill out the form. I did it for Nigerians. And they say, oh, you go put my name on the list. I said, I give them the F word. I said, really? What? But because they want to socialize, they want to network. They just say, hey, HGK, hey, I see you doing this. How do you do it? And would I join you? So, no. For them, if you're not drinking Henneken and chopping my moi and whatever, that's it. Or you telling them, oh, you're becoming a chief in your village or how you live in America. So the waykeeping, when people die, since I came to America, I have had life insurance. I've had life insurance. Because I said, when I die, I don't want anybody who's not a member of my family to participate in contributing money for my burial. I said, I'm too big for that. So I have life insurance. From the day I came to America, you don't have to be a citizen to have life insurance. So when my father died in 94, people, oh, HGK, can we come? And I said, no, I got money to bury my father. If you're my friend, you could come to my house. I was living in an apartment, and I come to my apartment and say, hey, man, sorry. But that's not going to be a waykeeping where I'm dancing around with plates, for people to contribute money. I said, no. To be a man or a woman, this is personal to you. If it's $1,000, you have to bury your parents, use 1,000. As opposed to going around and collecting whatever amount of money to go bury your parents. I said, come on. People said my mom, back then, before it even became something here, it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
My mom said, heck no, the village didn't get her pregnant. Okay? That this is her child. This is her responsibility. And what she meant is that she would take responsibility for her own child. Then she will only invite the village to the extent she wants the village to participate. A lot of us have defaulted into thinking, oh, it's the village. Somebody die, all of us come and contribute. But I said, no, buy life insurance, own one. So some Nigerians do that all the time. And I went to one event, Nigerian, they were complaining, oh, they contributed money for waykeeping and now give account how much this, how much that. I mean, there were factions in this whole thing. So I sat there, I wasn't a member, but because one of my sisters had come from Nigeria and wanted to attend this meeting. I said, okay, fine, let's go. But I'm not going there for that participation. But I couldn't hold myself. When I hear something to say, I have to say it. I don't care whether Jesus or Judas was there. I'll say it. And so this guy concerned with his mother-in-law had passed away. And it was about the money, waykeeping money contributed, and they were going back and forth. Whose friends came, how many of their friends contributed. And I'm just like sitting there. So I asked the guy, I said, guys, I'm not a member, but this subject matter is of interest to me. I asked the guy whose mother-in-law passed away. I said, his name is Theophilus. I said, Theophilus, let me ask you, if you had won lottery, would you come and call the village people to share the money? I said, would you call the village people and say, okay, I won lottery, let me share part of it? You probably would have changed your number and moved on. But here, something is, a debt in your family. I said, you go take care of it. If you're a man, take care of it. Nobody owe you waykeeping money. And everybody started calling me Taliban. Oh, who said education? And I was like, hey, but it's a fact. So you see how people default and defer to other people the responsibility for them. When I was living in Nigeria, I didn't come as a community person or communal person. So let's do the things that enhances us. Of course, we recognize some people may not be able to do it. Then let the people ask. As opposed to it becomes an automatic, people start calling, I don't know, in the Cameroonian community, excuse me, but in the Nigerian community, in the village, you start calling you, oh, somebody died. We have to contribute this amount of money for their burial. And I always tell them, I said, nope. If you don't have money to bury your own, let's donate the body to science. Maybe they can find it. Something. And we move on. But I am not contributing money for the burial of somebody I don't know and I don't care for. Take the responsibility. Just like me now, I could die tomorrow. My wife knows it. I say, if you ever call anybody that is not my friend to attend my funeral, I will get up from the coffin and I'll slap the person. Why are you here? We are not friends when I was alive. What are you here for? Please mind your business, okay? That's me. Don't come to watch my body. Don't come to do processing. No, move on. Wife, bury me here. Do this. Do that. Even if it's only her that carry. In fact, I even said no priest will pray for me. I don't want any priest to pray for me. No bishop, no pope, no pastor, no prophet. I said, if my wife is still there when I die, just say this prayer, God, he's coming home, take care of him. Bye. That's it. Nothing in this verse or chapter, everybody's singing. No, 20 minutes, everybody go home. Okay? That's what I want. And it's going to be standing up only. No sit down. And I will do a video to be played. I will say, hey, Lambert, hey, man, what's up? What's up? Hey, Tony, what are you doing here? Get out. You're not supposed to be here. So I will even speak from there from a video I will record before this stuff. You know what? It is how you want things. People should respect how you want it. It has nothing to do with anything. I've seen all these people fight over, burial and this, and it's like, come on. Just like when I buried my younger sister, my baby sister, I went home. I said, all this your tradition. I told the village what I said. When I die, I'm not coming. I said, I live in heaven, America. I will be offending God to be buried in hell, Nigeria. Right? Well, America is as close to heaven I can imagine. For me, anybody can think otherwise. So don't bury me here. Okay, it's like you come too close to the gate of heaven, and there you die. They take you back to hell. Come on, man. What's that? I said, no, bury me here. This is where I'm gonna be buried, and nobody's gonna come near my grave. I'll be cremated. I want to be. It's me, and I have the right to decide that. So that's it. But when people look at it. If that African who passed away here was in the hospital and they say, oh, he needs an organ donation or blood, how many Africans will line up to be tested to see if they can donate their organ? No, they won't show up. But when the person dies, everybody is running around. They put $50 in the envelope and they go dance and they rent a hall. I always wonder, can they give us an account? You rent a hall, people cook food. Let's look the cost and the expenses and what you get out of it. Do it just little thing. It doesn't have to be big. What all these big things about, burial and you ship the body, it costs you about $8,000 to ship it, and then you still, people that haven't seen this person, they're now going to have to start grieving again. Africa should not be the place dead bodies go to. They're already dead while they're alive. Why are you bringing more to them? Individuals make the decision. Don't burden people with your only responsibility, is what my thing is.
Well, I'm sure, as usual, there are many people who are going to disagree with you, but that's okay.
Like I said, it's my buddy. They can do what they want. I've said it publicly.
Right.
When I die, I don't want no priest, no pastor, no pope, no nothing. The only person, hopefully my wife will be here, is that only her will say the prayer. And I said, this is what I want you to say. That's it. Going to heaven, has anybody sent you a text message from there say, this is where I am? No. You know how we talk about all this. Let's say, okay, I meet somebody in my family that is dead or died. Let's say I'm driving, okay? Okay, I come home and my baby sister is in my living room. Don't you think I will run back out?
Of course.
So everybody says, oh, this is it. No, when you're dead, you're dead. And I think you are at peace when you have made a decision, recognize we're going to die. Say, this is what I want to get done. I don't want controversy over my body. I don't want anybody who is not a close family member to have a say where I am buried, how I'm going to be buried. I will make that decision before I pass. That's it. Anybody who can, that's their thing. I don't want a huge town procession and all. No. If you are my friend, we knew each other. Hey, say, hey man, may he rest. Don't show up. There won't be any food on my something. No food. Just like I said, stand up. You come in, you turn around, and you leave. And the only people that I know. If not, I will torment you. If I don't know you, and you show up at my funeral, I will torment you.
Now, so Okpa, that's interesting. I want us to go back to the fact of African engagement in politics within the United States, and you are the exception to that. Even though what I'm not sure whether, like, during the introduction, do you think the issue of Republican and the Democrat is what is preventing Africans from getting engaged in politics in the United States?
No, it's not. I mean, politics here actually, I see some Nigerians, so I'm a carrying member of this party or not, but that's no such thing. I mean, we have more than two parties, just that two parties are the prominent ones. We have libertarians, we have Green Party.
The Green
Anytime
Party.
you look at the presidential election, there are more than 10 people that have ran, but only two people are, the Democrats and Republicans. So it's a choice. I'm not telling anybody be Republican or Democrat. No, I've never said, oh, leave over here, go over there. No, I'm not in a crusade to persuade anybody. I know who I am, and I know what I vote for. I have one vote. I can't split the thing and say, okay, Democrat, somebody's going to get it, and their party's going to get it. And so I don't know what the Africans are looking for. There's never going to be a time a billboard is put up and say, okay, you Africans, it's your turn. I don't know. I've told you about this book, Chances of a Lifetime by Warren Christopher. And when he finished law school, Warren Christopher was the Secretary of State before Madeleine Albright. And when he finished law school, he went looking for a mentor. He went to somebody who he said, hey, can you mentor me? What the guy said to me? Well, I don't know. Mentoring is like, yes, I'm going to give you a program, you follow it, and it may be this. Sometimes that could be misleading. He said, I will mentor you, but I can share information with you. I can tell you how I will do certain things. If that's a mentor, fine. But there's nothing like mentor-mentee. It's not, how I did it doesn't mean it's going to turn out the same way you're going to if you do it. You know what he says? He says to him, he said, jump into the stream of life and swim as fast as you can. That's it. He didn't say, well, okay, do this, wake up by 6 o'clock and make sure you brush your teeth, make sure you take a shower. People look for that. But oftentimes the people say, hey, this is what I want to do. What would you do if you were in my position? I can say, hey, this is what I would do. Is that mentor? Is that sharing experience? The outcomes are never going to be the same. Okay. So he did that, and he ended up Secretary of State. The guy who he was looking to mentor him was never Secretary of State. You see? But he told him, jump into the stream of life and swim as fast as you can. And don't look back. Just keep going. So what are the Africans looking for political party? Are they looking, if you're a Democrat, I say, if you're a Democrat, make sure you're engaged and involved with them. Know whomever the chairman of the party is, host them, donate money. Africans, well, let's all contribute money and give to party. I said, no, you're not a PAC. When I give money, I give on an individual basis. I don't give on behalf of my family. I don't give on behalf of Nigerians or Igbos. I'm giving my money. Now, the only way we can give as a group is if we have a PAC. He said the Cameroonian Political Action Committee, which means you have to be duly registered and go through the filing. So when Africans say, oh, let's see who we're going to support, I say, who is this we? Who is this we? You could have them to come talk to you, your group, your community. But if you're not a political action community, you can't say, oh, let's take money from our community association to give to the candidate. It's a violation. So if a Democrat comes to talk to Cameroonians, at the end, if any one of you wants to support him or her, write him a check. But don't take Cameroonian Association money to go give the political guy. Except you're a PAC. Because if you're a duly registered nonprofit, you do that, you lose your license. Because then you have to give both sides. You have to give the Democrat and you give, so when you have a PAC, you focus on a particular issue, a particular candidate, or a particular party. So Africans haven't learned that. So they say, oh, no. Nigerians, Lambert, this is what Nigerians do. If you see a Nigerian and say, hey, man, my wife came, my wife had a baby. Instead of them saying, "Hey, congratulations," you know what they will say? When are you inviting us? Mhm. You say, "Hey, somebody died in my family. When are you inviting us?" No, not when can I come and pay my condolences. When you so that's why I say they have a communal sense, but not sense of community. They never express their own individual thing. They say, "Oh, how about us?" And I also, who is this us? Am I friends with you on the basis of us? Am I friends because you and I agree with each other? No, I'm not asking you as a person, but that's what I say. My friendship is not based on the community I come from. When I had my first wedding, for those who are listening, I had two weddings, okay? So I'm not afraid to shade. My father had 5 wives, so I'm only settled. I couldn't even handle one. So that's how I wish I was in Africa. Hey, I will have a Monday one, Tuesday one, and all that stuff.
The women will not be very happy with you. So.
Don't worry. When Linda started to give me headache, I say, wait a minute. I will call Angelina. Hey, what's up, girl? But what I'm saying is, when I had that wedding, they thought I was going to extend an invitation to the community. I said, my friend, because you and I are from the same village, you are not entitled to come to my wedding. I invited my friends. The 2 weddings I had, the same thing. In fact, the second wedding I had, I printed 3 different invitations, 3 different ones. There were people that I knew would show up by 3 when the service was going to be. And then there are people that I know they will follow us to the reception and have dinner. And people that I know will come they won't come to service, they will come to the reception. And then the people that I know are coming to dance. So I didn't want to waste my money, because if you invite Nigerians for something by 3, they don't show up until 9 p.m. or Africans. So that's how we did 3 different invitations. No African has ever done that in America. Even our white people. White people know, because when you invite them to something, they're going to show, they will show. So people showed up different times. So, 9 o'clock when we are now dancing and enjoying whatever we were enjoying. Some people are, "Hey, man, when did you show up?" "Oh, I've been here since 3 o'clock. Well, my invitation said 9 o'clock. So they will come to me and say, "Hey, Ejike, my invitation said," I said, "Man, I know you wouldn't show up for 3, so I invited you for the one I know you're going to show up." Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I didn't have time to explain anything to me. This is my event. It didn't have to. Because I think it's when you start explaining and apologizing and justifying, then everybody think they're going to tell you what to do. No. I invited you for 9 o'clock. You showed up for 9. Forget the guy who I invited for 3. It's all different classes of friendship. Okay. We are all not in the same. And it was fun. Because by 9 o'clock, we have already given out the gift we want to give to our guests. It's not just come in and have cake.
That was
I love to shock people. Okay, like this event I'm hosting for the Senate President of Congo. I told the guys what we're gonna do, and once we finish with that, we're gone. We take that out, and everybody else can mingle. So that some people will be jealous, some people will be angry, and they say, "Hey, how come I didn't do that?" I said, "Man, you have to upgrade your membership." Okay. You have to upgrade your membership or your character. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you are just joining us here, I'm with Sir Ed Okpa, and we are talking about African immigrants and their engagement in politics in the United States. We have actually gone through a couple of things for the last 7 minutes or so. I realized that Okpa is becoming, let me not say becoming. So Okpa is engaged within our community. And one of the things that for the benefit of those who have not known, I just learned that this week, at least 2 people posted that to me. There are a lot of people who have reached out to Sir Okpa just because they found him on the show, and he's been gracious to link up with them. One of such persons is the very dynamic Franco Bonghan, who is in Houston.
Houston, yeah. He's the one I asking me to come speak at his event.
Right, and he's hosting an event next on Saturday, the 20th of November, and I think you are the keynote, if I'm not mistaken.
That's the only way I would do it.
So again, I really wanted
But let
to
me tell you, you know the topic for that event?
know.
I'm not going to discuss it, but I'll tell you the topic because you want me to announce this on your show. Africans don't know how to make unreasonable demands. You need to be able to do unreasonable demand things in life in order for you to pop out of the crowd. That's what I'm going to challenge them with. Unreasonable demands. We are afraid of many things. We get emotional. We think somebody. So, but anyway, I'm looking forward to it. That was a lady. I think Franco posted something. But again, I'm grateful to you because he reached out to me after he heard me, and then we've talked. We've had our exchanges. I say, hey, I'm not easily offended. I just have my views. And my views, I'm going to back it up with facts. If my facts are wrong, then that's where my opinions are. But so he posted the thing on his Facebook, and people have been responding. In fact, one lady or somebody said, "Oh yeah, he's heard me on your show. He's been a listener." I know a lot of people listen; they don't have opportunity to comment. She's looking forward to. I said, sure. Maybe Franco is the only friend I know. Maybe by the time I'm done talking to them, I'll lose him too as a friend. I'm back to zero. I love the shock treatment. The shock treatment is to get out of our comfort zone. Let's provoke each other. Let's prompt each other. Encourage each other. Come on. You make the effort to come to America in itself is a big deal. And then you come here and then you start to play as if you are afraid of the system or the system. No. Hey, Lambert, if every immigrant that came to America behave like the Africans, we wouldn't have the country we have. We wouldn't. Look, America has civil war. The white people, they killed each other because they were fighting values. They're fighting what type of country are we going to have? Europe is the same thing. How many other continents have had a sort of war the European continent has had? Africans haven't had any war. Africans, the war they had is war within themselves. They've never said, Cameroon say, you know what, Central African Republic, you are a nuisance to us. We're taking you over or shut up. Or, Nigeria, that's just big for nothing country, hasn't even been able to go to become a huge influence positively for this neighboring. But look at how France at the time, England and Germany wanted to take over everybody. And they went to war. And many people died. Has that thing happened in Africa? Heck no. We say we are brothers. Excuse my French. Forget the brother stuff. If your brother is a nuisance, deal with him. Okay? Deal with him. Say a lesson. My father used to say to his friends, he said, look, I'm hard on my friends so that my enemies better beware.
Right.
So, hard doesn't mean harsh. But hey, like I tell my family members, I can give you money. I can give you whatever. But if it's business, if we call that money business money, if you abuse it, I'm suing you. I'm suing you, and I'm going to do anything I can to collect. But if I say, hey, it's free money, go for it. You squander it, you squander it. So for us, we don't make the distinction. Our siblings sometimes have abused us. Is it not a fact?
It is.
Abuse a fact. You send them money to do something on your behalf, and they don't do it, and we say, oh, it's okay. God will provide it. Okay, fine. You abuse me, I abuse you. That's just the way it is. But I won't start to abuse you until you abuse me. So we have to hold each other in a critical way in order to improve. Look at even the businesses we have. Okay, if you go to an African grocery store and you buy something and you turn around and say, you don't like it, look at how they talk at you. Oh, come on, man, take it. What do you want me to do with it? But if you buy something and go to 7-Eleven, they take it back, is it not?
Yeah.
And they even want to know what's the problem with it. The African will say, oh, man, why are you doing that? Take it the way, this is the way I bought it. So they bought a bad thing to sell to somebody. They don't care about customer service. But we are not telling them. You go to a restaurant to eat. The service is bad. Hospitality is not part. Come on, guys. If we, the new and improved Africans in America, haven't gotten it, the people back home will say, yeah, it's okay with us. Like when I go to Nigeria, you know how many shirts I take with me? One bag. I get funny. I'm coming through the airport, and the custom people I said, any checked-in bag? I said no. Where are you coming from? Nigeria or Ghana? And this is it. And they say, you are one African that they've seen that travel with one bag because everybody wants to carry Walmart with them. Okay. They're buying for everybody. They do. I said, no. This is it. And they are so I love it. So when I'm going home, I tell my people, don't ask me for anything because I'm not bringing it. Because the same thing, I can buy it in Nigeria. So one time, in my early years, everybody did that, you buy for everybody. So one time I said, I'm paying excess luggage. I'm concerned about, my luggage making it. And I don't want to do, I travel light. So you know what I would do? When I get to Lagos, I just go buy some shirts. I'm thinking that they think it's from America. They don't do it different. But I have come to where I said, do you want the shirt or do you want the dollar? What do you want? Because the shirt I have could be $50, $60. But $60 cash money to you is a lot of money for you locally. Oh, they want the cash. So that has made me not to buy anything. You got to negotiate your way out of situation with the Africans. If not, they're going to drag you. You're taking 20 luggages. Come on. When I go to the airport and see Africans, you could tell. Even Delta, you say, oh, yeah, man, are you African for real? Because when I say it's one bag, they say, are you for real? Because everybody's coming with 20 or 10. What are they buying? They go to all these dollar stores and they load their boxes with stuff to take home. Come on. Show them that America is not all these things you take home. It's how those things can be bought. I tell you, I went to Ghana, some nice very jeans, I bought it in Ghana. That in America would have cost me a lot of money. So we have to begin to have our people have some kind of conversation or different approach.
Thank you very much. And I just wanted to take the time because, again, this is what we should be about. We should be about building our community, isn't it? And that's the one message that Sir Okpa has been hammering throughout this year, 2021, since we started this show. Most of us Africans leave our countries and we are not able to move beyond that parochialism of I come from Cameroon, I come from Nigeria. We should be able to come together, isn't it? Build that good network so that we can have the leverage. And I wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you, Sir Okpa, for agreeing to come here, but even more so that the impact you are having on the community, I felt proud that you are able to go be this keynote speaker at this event. And I want to say that this particular year, I really never donated to my friend's cause. I've never supported this project. But this year, I'm going to spend the whole of next week making sure I get something to. He wants to support 50 girls with the conflict in Cameroon. So I am going to make sure that I use this platform to support at least one of those girls. I'm pledging that. And all those who are with me, all those who follow this show, please let us try to help Franco. Go to brightlightprojects.org and read about it. We'll talk about it. Franco was supposed to be with me last Saturday. We are going to make sure we get on this Saturday to talk about this and other projects. My friend says, Alusha says, I like his stance on traveling home. Okay, so yes, travel light. That's a good thing. Yeah, so Okpa, again, thank you very much. I don't know if you have any last words.
Well, again, it's always, this you could call it a show, but for me, it's conversation. I love conversation. And one thing, like you're talking about supporting Franco and the project. Lambert, annually, there's about $800 billion of nonprofit money that flow around in America. 800 billion. Okay. The African organizations, the ones they form, it's harder in a given year to look at it and see that maybe we are getting like $50 million from these nonprofits because we are not even a given people. So one of the things I'm going to work with Franco on is to position his nonprofit organization on how to access nonprofit money in America, how to write the grants, how to approach organizations, because nonprofit is a much difficult thing to do. Okay. Your business, once you go. But to ask other people to give you money, you have to have the credibility, and your mission has to be clear, and it has to be relevant. So oftentimes we do this thing out of the fact, oh, we're helping out, which is fine. But whose profit are we looking for when we haven't made our own profit? So how many Africans are giving? How many Africans are willing to give, even if it's $50? Just look at it. If there are 10,000 Cameroonians in America, and they say the Cameroonians or the Nigerians say, okay, every year I'm going to commit $1,000 to support issues that are impact and positively can make a difference in money. You know how much money that is? And that's $80 a month if you want to break it down that way. But we're not a giving nature. We want to go ask other people. So the challenge is for us, step up. A dollar in economics. Money attracts itself. That's why we have equity and we have debt. In science, the opposite attracts. So if you put up your own dollar, chances are another dollar is going to want to attach. But you got to have the vehicle and how to do that. So that's the thing. I'm going to be in Nigeria December something. Again, through the way I have held myself out, I'm speaking at a university convocation. I'm the keynote speaker at this Catholic University in Nigeria. I'm gonna. And what is my topic? My topic again is, what is your PhD? So when I sent that to them, the university was panicking. Like, what is this guy talking about a PhD? They couldn't figure it out. They think it's the other one they put after their name, doctor or something. But when they read my paper, oh my God, they were like, wow. Because I said, in order for you to attain your life goals and dreams, what is your PhD? Initially, when they saw it, they thought it was academic stuff. I said, no, it's not. Those letters mean something. And once you can imbibe the value of those letters, you could see a difference outside of, in addition to the degree you have. So I'm looking forward to it. For them, the vice chancellor reached out to me and said, hey, would you do this? I said, I'll do it. Again, I like influence more than power. African presidents have power, they don't have influence. Influence is what you do that somebody else can look at it and it will make them do certain things a certain way. So that's that. And then I also want to announce on your T, I'm going to be running for Congress. I'm going to be running for Congress from Texas. And I'm going to seek a Republican nomination. I don't know if I win it or not, but I'm going to do it. I'm doing it because I want to. I've always wanted to do that. So my name will go on ballots. We're going to be a campaign march. It's the primary. So the Africans that are there, if you are in the area to vote or you're anywhere to support me, that's fine. When I became a citizen, I said, I'm going to keep testing this passport. I'm not just going to be a voter. I'm going to want to do what? I'm going to run. So if I make it from the great state of Texas as a Black Republican, you can imagine what the news will be. You'll be like, whoa, So Native Africans that are here, everybody that is here, we got to start doing this stuff. It's for us to do. It's competition. All the horses are in the cage. It's a derby. Until that cage is pulled up, the horse that wins the derby wins the derby. But you got to run. In order for you to think of winning a lottery, what do you have to do?
You have to play.
You have to have bought the ticket.
Yeah.
To expose yourself to the odds. So when people say, are you going to win? You just laugh at them like they don't know what this process is about. It's not about winning. It's about showing up. Of course, if you win, it's a good story. But it's about showing up. I ran for mayor of Dallas how many times I have done. But you know what? When I go to that city hall, Mr. Okpa, how are you? All that things, we have been doing all that things. The only time you lose an election is if you're already in office, you run for re-election, and you didn't win. That's when you lost it. Okay. But if you have never won it, you have never lost it. Then you say I lost the lottery. Yeah, you never won it. You never won it. So again, our people refuse to understand how life is because they're looking for green lights to say it's okay. No, keep going. Keep going. By the way, there are a lot of things in life happen by the way. You could be going for this, boom, something else pops up. So again, I'm happy to say publicly on your forum, I'm going to be running. You know, so you guys can talk about it, blog about it. From great state of Texas, not from Minnesota. You know, if he's from Minnesota, he's probably going to be a Democrat and noisemakers. But if he's from Texas, then it's going to be big red. It's going to be big red. And the congressman has a national presence, even though he's coming from a district. So this will be, issues, the committees. We gotta invite our people. Come on, come talk in the committee, come testify. We haven't been able to deal with all these things about corruption and foreign people, leaders bringing money into here because you're not in the room where you can say, hey, come on, talk about what's going on in your country. What's going on here? Well, we don't do that. Then it becomes other people who have read about Africa but have never really been to Africa and making a decision. So we are here. We can help them make better decision, or we be the one they are helping to make better decision. But we can't just be on the sideline and no longer want to participate. Come on, I love participation.
Sir Okpa, thank you very much. I am proud to say I'm the first person, the first show you have announced this on. And again, I have to pledge that I'm going to do everything to be able to maybe put that. I don't live in Dallas, but again, I think there's something that we all can do to make sure that this happens, isn't it? So,
you can make contribution. You can talk about it. You can, again, you just keep the word out. Right. Money doesn't win election. Votes do. Even though people might tell you, oh well, how you gotta do this. Hey, look at Mike Bloomberg. He spent his billions and he ended up with no delegates. Okay, so when we talk about money, say, hey, how about Mike Bloomberg? How about Steve Forbes? How about all these other big people who have, the guy from California, Tom Steyer, who even when I hired a black entertainer, and at the end, they all fizzled out before they can even sizzle. So you never know who's gonna win. You gotta just show up. So I'm looking forward to showing up. And I can talk about the issues. I'm not intimidated on this stage. I mean, I can debate anybody, because it's just an aspect of me. I'm not gonna be rude. I'm not gonna say the nasty word. But if you say nasty word, you just open up me to say the word I'm gonna say. And I don't. One thing, Lambert. I don't apologize. Even to my wife, sometimes I do certain things. I say, honey, it's unfortunate you don't understand. That's it. That's how I end it. It's unfortunate because apology are for kids. When I do it, I did it because I wanted to do it. They want me to apologize for what I wanted to do. You are on the wrong bus.
I think someday we're going to come to talk about that particular aspect because I think that in life you should be able to apologize because there are mistakes that you make.
No. If I step on your toes, I probably wanted to step on your toes.
Well, I don't think so.
I will not apologize. No. What I'm saying is that if I do it mistakenly, yes. But I'm just saying if I intentionally want to step on your toes and you tell me to apologize, I'll say no. So that's what I'm saying. So I'll be careful not to intentionally do it, so that, I can say, oh man, forget that. I'm sorry. But when it comes to like a decision I have made about certain things and you say, oh, you should have talked to me about it. That's like, no, I'm not. So, but again, apologies are for kids. Apologies are for people who are not thinking through the things they want to do. In life, how people will come out and say, oh, I apologize for because, when I was in high school, I touched a girl, and now it's coming out. Well, apologize for what? Well, shoot. In my age, if you haven't waffled, you haven't lived. The only person who you want to be innocent of anything is maybe even a 3-year-old kid has done something. Okay, so this thing in America, I apologize. Come on. Look, what you did yesterday is different from what you're doing today. If you're in office now, okay, let's watch you. Let's watch what you're going to do. But don't say, oh, because you did this before you became governor, or congressman, or senator, you should apologize for that. What kind of nonsense is that? It doesn't make sense. Okay, now you're going to give me a duty to do as your I will do it, but don't tie that to what I did in high school. that kind of stuff. I'm just saying the distraction that takes away from the fact that a whole lot of us are capable of other things in a new day. Don't hold people back to what happened, in whatever period they go. I'm not just that.
Okay, well, again, as always, I really want to appreciate you. I want to say thank you. And I think you are putting words to action. You have repeatedly advocated, advised, admonished, encouraged Africans to get involved in politics. You are engaged. You know the politics of your area. You have, I mean, the governor, the congressman, and all that. And I'm glad that you yourself, you have decided to, at this point, you want to become a congressman for the great state of Texas.
Yes.
So like I said, I'm going to use my platform. I'm going to use all that I can to provide the support that you need, because you have been a great resource for us. And we will not just say we wish you the best. Yes, it's not just luck. It also requires hard work. And there's a Cameroonian who is running to be governor in Pennsylvania, I think. So he's a medical doctor. We're going to also continue he too is running as a Republican. So that's great. So again, we are glad with this, that the message you have is resonating. And we'll continue to build up to make sure that as many Africans show up. Let us be present. Let us show up and be able to do things to change ourselves and to change the continent.
Well, if we succeed here as Africans in America, then we'll be in a position to influence things that happens in the continent. If we think the way to influence it is by sending money by Western Union, we're not going to do that, because a bunch of them make so much money from what they do over there. But if you can get them on the policy side, if you can make it harder for any African politician, public servant to come here and buy real estate, and make sure it doesn't happen, that's when they begin to respect you. But if you have become a conduit, you're starting to celebrate them. I was at a time, all these Nigerians will come, they will call me, hey, AG guy, I should go pick up this guy from the airport. I said, what? He knew he's coming to America. He should have made a plan on going from the airport to his hotel. I say, you must be out of your mind. I don't care whether he's the president. I'm not picking him up. I'm not picking him up. But that's what we do. You got these ministers who would take so much money from the public, and they go out and they show up and everybody's carrying them around. I was like, no, I'm the new and improved. You see that? I'm in heaven and then I'm welcoming somebody from hell? Heck no. You have to elevate your status. You have to assign value to yourself in order for people to assign value to you. I'm not going to accord, if these Congolese people, I say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm doing this for you guys. So you have to, have you read the book In Defense of Elitism?
No.
Okay, go get a copy of it. Africans don't know what elitistic life is. Go get a copy. We want to harmonize everybody. We're the only ones that have an association where a cab driver and a PhD person is a member. Is it not? Yeah. So, sit over there and everybody's talking. Huh? What? Your mentality has moved. You have mentally moved up. The guy who is driving cab or doing other things, hey, good luck to him. But you shouldn't be sitting in the same room, because your daily stuff is not the same thing. He probably has never sat in a meeting room, in a boardroom. All of a sudden, he drives it as, after all, we are from the same village. After all, I should participate. Let him have it and move out. Okay? You know what I tell some people? You can have it. I'm not part of it. I'm out. Because you will start to create conflict for you mentally. Because they're not going to want that to learn. They want to start to challenge you every time you say something. Oh, you think because you have a master's degree. Oh, you think because you have this and that. They won't say that to white people. They won't. So we have to begin, that every society has a pyramid, whether it is socialism, communism, capitalism, it is a pyramid somewhere. Okay? So it depends on the shape of the pyramid. We can't just want to drag everybody up now. Some people are going to rise. At the beginning of every semester, every student has an A. Is you know what it is?
Yeah.
And the semester goes on, some people are getting incomplete, drop out, and some even have a grade that ends with H. You know what the H is?
No.
Horrible. Okay, and there's some people, you know what I mean? So that distribution is going to be there, but everybody listen to the same professor. So don't apologize if somebody's at the bottom. Don't apologize for that. That maybe, hey, you know, you can flip, but don't, just keep going, keep pulling the ones you can pull. But everybody's not going to be on top, and everybody's not going to be at the bottom. The people at the bottom, they just want to be at the bottom because that's, hey, I don't care. All right, guys, thank you for the time, and hopefully we do it again.
Thank you very much, Okpa. And like I said, next Wednesday, try to get the people from Congo. Let's talk for a few minutes before.
Yeah, I will tell them, and then you know, all three of us with you can participate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Have a good evening and see you.